North Korea is punishing women for wearing shorts.
Punished by 10 men, she was very feared. It was insane.
Out of all the countries on Earth, North Korea stands as the most secretive and tightly controlled. Known as the Hermit Kingdom, it prides itself on isolation and self-reliance. But behind its closed borders lies a reality of extreme laws and brutal enforcement. Under the absolute rule of Supreme Leader Kim Jong-Un, daily life is shaped by some of the harshest regulations in existence. With that in mind, let's pull back the curtain and uncover some of the wildest, most unbelievable laws that govern this mysterious nation, at least the ones we know about. Number 20. Nap and you're out. Ever doze off in a Zoom meeting or find your eyes closing during a boring lecture? Most of us have experienced that unintended nap, and we might even laugh it off. But in North Korea, a simple snooze can cost you your life. Yes, you heard that right. Napping is a capital offense. In a world where laziness gets a slap on the wrist, the North Korean military shows zero tolerance. Back in 2015, the Minister of Defense, Hayon Young-chol, reportedly paid the ultimate price for catching some Z's during a military rally. His sudden removal from duty by Kim Jong-un was a harsh reminder that sleep is a luxury they cannot afford. Just 1 year later, another official, the Education Minister Kim Young-jin, met a similar fate when his bad posture during a party rally was deemed an act of rebellion. Imagine sitting in a classroom or office knowing that even a quick nap or slouched shoulders could end your career, or worse, your life. It might sound absurd, but in North Korea, every moment counts and every action is closely watched. So next time you think about sneaking a nap, be grateful that you live in a place where a little sleepiness is not a crime. Number 19. Pedal at your own risk. Bicycles are a common way to get around in many bustling cities, but in North Korea, things are never quite so simple. At one point, the authorities banned bikes altogether in Pyongyang to force a rapid switch to motor vehicles. However, when the economy tanked in 1991 and most people could not afford cars, the ban was lifted in 1992. Yet the issues did not end there, as the state later imposed a bizarre rule that banned women from owning or riding bicycles. The government argued that an attractive woman on a bike might be too distracting and could harm public morals. Officials even claimed that women were genetically unable to handle traffic, a claim that is both odd and baseless. In 2012, the ban was briefly lifted, only to be reinstated in early 2013, leaving many women confused and frustrated. Even though the rule is now more flexible due to a lack of motorized public transportation, the shadow of this strange policy still lingers over North Korea. It's a quirky reminder of how a simple form of transport can become entangled in politics and outdated ideas. So, if you feel the urge to pedal, appreciate the freedom cycling brings. Number 18. Tuned out tunes. Imagine being punished for enjoying your favorite music or movie simply because it comes from another country. In North Korea, listening to foreign tunes or watching films in a different language is not only frowned upon, but can also be downright dangerous. Back in 2015, Kim Jong-un issued a decree that scrapped all cassette tapes and CDs featuring banned songs to silence dissent. The punishment varies by the origin of the film. Watching an American movie might result in execution, while an Indian film could land you in prison. Even distributing what some might call pornography can lead to the death penalty under these strict rules. North Koreans are allowed to watch only 3 government-controlled television channels, leaving little room for choice or variety. This rigid control over the media is meant to keep citizens in line and prevent them from adopting foreign ideas. It might seem extreme to us, but in a country where the government watches every move, such rules are enforced without hesitation. For many, the loss of creative freedom is a high price to pay, and it leaves citizens feeling trapped and unheard. Number 17. Hair today, gone tomorrow. Ever wondered why your hairstyle matters so much in some places? In North Korea, it's not just about looking good, it's a matter of state control. Every citizen is required to cut their hair in one of 28 government-approved styles. These rules date back to when Kim Jong-Un decided that rebellion could be spotted even in a bad haircut. The government insists that everyone must have the same approved look, leaving little room for personal flair. If you dare to sport spiky hair or any style not on the list, you might find yourself in serious trouble. These strict rules reflect the regime's need to control even the smallest details of everyday life. While most of us choose our hairstyles based on fashion or mood, North Koreans must follow a list set by the government. The idea is to eliminate any sign of individualism and ensure that everyone looks uniformly bland. So, while you might enjoy experimenting with your hair at home, remember that in North Korea, your haircut is a commandment. It's a strange, almost humorous law that shows just how far the state will go to control personal expression. Number 16. No dial tone, no problem. Imagine being cut off from the entire world with just one phone call. In North Korea, making international calls is not only frowned upon, but it is considered a serious crime. According to reports from as far back as 2007, a factory boss was executed by firing squad in front of a massive crowd for allowing international calls. The punishment was carried out in front of 150,000 people, sending a chilling message to anyone who dared to connect with the outside world. This harsh penalty is meant to prevent any unwanted foreign influence from seeping into their closed society. Imagine the fear of simply picking up a phone, knowing that one wrong call could end everything. For many citizens, this rule makes the idea of communication seem like an impossible luxury. It is a reminder of how extreme measures can isolate a country and cut its people off from the rest of the world. In North Korea, a single phone call can literally cost you your life. Number 15. Jeans and trousers. Troubles. Ever noticed how some clothes can stir up more trouble than a wild party? In North Korea, even a pair of jeans can be a symbol of Western influence and defiance. Since mid-2020, Kim Jong-Un has launched a crackdown targeting Western styles and values. The government banned all styles of jeans, claiming that they represented the enemy's influence. This strict rule is a throwback to the division of Korea after World War II. According to the regime, Western clothing corrupts traditional values and weakens national pride. The law does not stop at jeans. Women are forbidden from wearing trousers without a work uniform. If caught in a pair of denim or sporting unapproved trousers, punishment can be severe. Patriotic Youth League members may interrogate offenders and force them to confess their crimes publicly. While enforcing such rules might seem silly, it reveals the deep-seated fear of Western ideas in the regime. If you love your freedom to wear what you like, be thankful that you are not living under these absurd restrictions. Remember, your jeans and trousers are symbols of self-expression that many around the world take for granted. Number 14. Clean that dust, or else. In North Korea, loyalty to the ruling family is taken to an extreme level that might shock you. Anything that disrespects Kim Jong-un, the government, or the politicians is seen as a serious act of blasphemy. The portraits of former leaders Kim Jong-il and Kim Il-sung hang in every home, school, office, and public space. Constant, unblinking reminders of the Kim dynasty's grip on the nation since the country's founding in 1948. Jae-son Lee, a defector who fled in 2011, describes the near-religious reverence for these figures. Their portraits are everywhere, so we can always be with them. It's almost like having crosses or statues of Jesus in churches. Even small gestures like failing to clean dust off a portrait can lead to severe punishment. In one case, a mother was jailed for choosing to save her children over cleaning the portrait of a former leader. The government even provides special dusters to families to ensure the portraits are kept spotless at all times. Any failure to show proper respect is met with immediate and harsh retribution from the authorities. This obsession with honor and reverence makes daily life in North Korea a constant balancing act. It doesn't matter if you are a parent, a friend, or even a neighbor, disrespect will not be tolerated. Living under such strict expectations creates an atmosphere where every word and action is carefully measured. Number 13. Slam-dunked rules. North Korea has its own version of basketball, and it is as quirky as you might imagine. They have changed the scoring system in ways that defy conventional logic. Slam dunks are now worth 3 points instead of 2, which makes every dunk extra exciting. Field goals made in the final 3 minutes of the game are valued at 8 points. Missing 3 consecutive throws results in a penalty where 1 point is deducted. These unusual rules add a bizarre twist to a game loved by many around the world. The changes are designed to keep players on their toes and make the game unpredictable. Fans of the sport find these adjustments both amusing and baffling, adding to the game's unique charm. Imagine watching a game where a missed shot can lower your team's score. Such creative modifications show that even sports can be molded by the hands of strict regimes. Players must adapt quickly to these bizarre rules to succeed on the court. Even if you are not a fan of basketball, these unusual tweaks are sure to make you smile. It is a perfect example of how one country can turn a familiar game into a wild, unpredictable spectacle. Number 12. 3-generation trouble. In North Korea, the law of punishment reaches far beyond the individual. If someone commits a crime, their entire family, parents, children, and even grandchildren, may suffer the consequences. This harsh law, known as 3-generation punishment, is designed to stop people from fleeing responsibility. Not only is the offender punished, but their parents and children also face severe penalties. The idea is to create a strong deterrent, making families think twice before committing any misdeeds. Imagine being held accountable for your relative's mistakes, even if you had no part in the crime. This punishment reaches 3 generations deep, casting a long shadow over families. It is a brutal reminder that in North Korea, the actions of one can condemn many. This policy leaves no room for escape, ensuring that fear and control go hand in hand. Families live in constant anxiety, aware that one misstep can affect generations to come. Such a draconian law is intended to crush any thought of defiance and maintain strict control. It shows just how far the government will go to keep its people in line. If you value freedom, consider yourself lucky to live where punishment is not inherited by your kin. This system of punishment is as shocking as it is unique. In North Korea, one mistake can ruin your life and that of your family. Number 11. Capital living. By invitation. Only. Living in a major capital is a dream for many people around the world. In most countries, cities are hubs of opportunity and vibrant culture. However, in North Korea, living in the capital, Pyongyang, is not so simple. Only those with government approval, often the rich, successful, and influential, can call it home. This exclusive policy is designed to maintain a pristine image of the capital. The regime wants only the most successful, rich, and powerful individuals to live there. People from humble beginnings or those striving to make it big have little chance. Approval is granted only to those who meet strict criteria and can prove their worth. For most North Koreans, the dream of living in Pyongyang remains just that, a dream. If you are someone trying to start from scratch, Pyongyang is simply not an option. This strict control over residency highlights the regime's desire to shape society according to its own image. It is a clear reminder that in North Korea, even where you live is dictated by the state. Number 10. The forbidden name. Imagine a world where names are a free-for-all, and yet in North Korea, things take an unusual twist. When Kim Jong-Un became the Supreme Leader in 2011, he decided his name had to be one of a kind, so he banned anyone else from sharing it. That means every North Korean with the once popular name Jong-Un had to pick a new name. It might sound like a funny game, but it was serious business. The idea was to make sure that no one else could claim even a tiny bit of his unique brand. People had to adapt quickly, trading familiar names for new ones, all in the name of standing apart from the leader. Imagine the confusion and the surprising stories behind every new name. Conversations must be full of questions like, What did you choose to be called? And how did you feel about the change? The government's move may have been an odd way to consolidate power, ensuring that Kim Jong-un remained the only one with that name. In a place where every detail is controlled, even something as simple as a name can become a powerful statement about authority and individuality. A bizarre twist in the story of everyday life in North Korea. Really, quite a statement. Number 9. July 8, no smiling allowed. Picture a day so solemn that even a grin is forbidden. In North Korea, July 8th marks the anniversary of President Kim Il-sung's death in 1994, and nothing fun is allowed. On that day, a strict set of rules bans smiling, loud talking, dancing, and even drinking alcohol. Can you imagine trying to celebrate a birthday in a place where every bit of joy must be muted? The authorities are very serious about keeping the mood appropriately somber. Violating these rules is not a minor slip-up. It can lead to severe punishment, including time in labor camps or even execution. Tourists visiting the country on this day find themselves in an eerie silence, having to bow down before Kim Il-sung's preserved body in his glass tomb. The air is thick with reverence, and the reminder of a leader who continues to loom large over the country's history. It is a day when the usual smiles and laughter are replaced by a solemn, almost eerie quiet. Number 8. DIY desks and chairs. Heading off to school only to discover that your desk and chair aren't provided by the school is the reality for many in North Korea. There, students and their families face this unusual extra expense every day. Unlike in many other countries where school supplies and furniture come free, North Korean students must pay extra for a simple desk and chair. It might seem like a minor detail, but the cost adds up quickly, especially for families already struggling with tight budgets. Parents work hard to save enough money so that their children have a proper place to study. Without a desk and a chair, focusing on schoolwork becomes nearly impossible. Picture a classroom where kids sit on hard floors or share a single bench, trying to fit into a space not designed for learning. This small extra cost highlights how differently life is managed under a strict, state-controlled system. It is one of many ways the government influences everyday life, turning even the most basic parts of education into a personal challenge. When you consider it, something as simple as sitting down to study becomes a luxury that demands planning and sacrifice. Education, in this context, is truly hard work. Number 7. State-owned homes. In many parts of the world, having a house represents a significant step toward independence and comfort. In North Korea, however, the concept of home ownership is completely flipped. All property in the country is state-owned, with the government assigning living spaces to its citizens. If you're hoping to live in the bustling capital, Pyongyang, you'll need special permission. And forget about buying or selling your home. That's simply not allowed. Yet, resourceful North Koreans have discovered a clever workaround. Instead of owning property, they rely on residency certificates to prove where they live. These certificates are often swapped under different names, creating a sort of underground home exchange system. This crafty maneuver doesn't come free of charge. Bribes and favors, sometimes in the form of a pack of cigarettes or a good bottle of liquor, are commonly traded. This situation is a clear reminder that even under strict government control, people find inventive ways to navigate the system. The peculiar housing arrangement turns the basic act of having a roof over one's head into a game of chance, luck, and shrewd negotiation. For many, securing a decent living space remains a constant challenge in a society where every inch of property is managed by the state. Number 6. 28 websites and no Wi-Fi. In North Korea, people can only use an intranet called Kwangmyong, meaning bright. It was launched in 2000 and is a closed-off network that limits users to only 28 government-approved websites. This isn't your everyday online experience. Only political leaders, select elite students, and the military's cyber team have access to the real internet, leaving the majority with a very limited view of the world. The state-sanctioned Red Star OS is the only operating system allowed, built specifically in Korean. Forget about using Windows or Mac. North Korea prefers its own software to control every bit of digital activity. Even Wi-Fi is banned in North Korean embassies worldwide. It might sound like a scene from a dystopian movie, but it's everyday life in North Korea. The restricted online world keeps information tightly controlled and keeps citizens isolated from global happenings. Conversations, news, and entertainment are all carefully managed by the state, leaving little room for independent thought or exploration. While many of us enjoy the freedom of the internet, here it is a tool for control. It's a fascinating and often bizarre reminder of how technology can be shaped to serve the interests of those in power. Number 5. No Bibles. In North Korea, the Bible is seen as a dangerous symbol of Western culture, so much so that even possessing one can lead to harsh punishment. In 2013, for example, reports say that as many as 80 people were publicly executed in several cities for minor crimes, including having a Bible. In one horrifying incident, groups of people were forced to watch as 8 individuals were executed in a stadium, their heads covered and their fate sealed by machine guns. This brutal method of control is not just about enforcing rules, it's about sending a message to everyone that Western ideas are not welcome. Even a small slip, like accidentally forgetting a Bible in a restaurant, can lead to imprisonment, as happened to an American in 2014 who was jailed for several months. The government uses fear to maintain power, ensuring that no alternative ideas challenge their strict ideology. Life in North Korea is filled with reminders of brutal control, making every action a matter of survival. Number 4. Dreams are assigned. Remember when you used to dream about becoming an astronaut, a ballerina, or maybe a famous YouTuber? In many places, kids are encouraged to imagine big futures. But in North Korea, dreams take a different turn. From a very young age, children learn that their future is not theirs to choose. Instead, the government decides what each person's lifelong job will be. After high school, every graduate is assigned a job based on the country's strict plans and resource needs. It doesn't matter if you dreamed of a creative career or an exciting adventure. What matters is what the state thinks is best. There's no room for personal preference unless you can pay a big bribe, which is nearly impossible for most families. This system means that kids end up with jobs they never chose, sometimes in roles they never imagined. For instance, during Kim Jong-il's time, thousands of students were sent to work as potato farmers in regions with plenty of crops but few people. Their lives were set in stone, and even their children would likely follow the same path. It's a stark contrast to the freedom many of us take for granted. While we can change our minds, North Korean kids are told exactly what to do. It's a reality that shapes every dream, leaving little room for the hopes of tomorrow. Number 3. Triplets belong to the state. Ever heard that triplets bring good luck? In North Korea, the birth of triplets is seen as a stroke of fortune. With a falling birth rate and a society that values luck and prosperity, triplets quickly become a special focus for the state. When a mother gives birth to 3 children at once, the government swoops in. Instead of letting the family keep all the babies, the state takes them away to be raised in specially run orphanages or nursery schools. It might sound heart-wrenching, but the government even rewards the parents with gifts, a gold ring for girls and a silver knife for boys, in exchange for their children. Later, when these children grow up, being part of a triplet set can open doors to better opportunities, from military assignments to university admissions. It's a bizarre mix of luck and control, where something as naturally joyful as a multiple birth becomes a tool for state planning. Imagine the conflicting emotions, a family's delight at new life tempered by the loss of control over their children's future. While handing out benefits may seem like a kind gesture, the reality is much harsher. Number 2. Lights out, microwaves out. Imagine coming home in the evening only to find the lights have been switched off by government decree. In North Korea, a severe energy crisis forces authorities to cut power every night. This isn't due to a quirky habit, but a serious shortage of electricity in the country. Citizens must obtain permission to use electricity, and owning common appliances like a microwave is illegal. The restrictions make everyday life feel like a constant struggle, as people have to plan their routines around the power schedule. Imagine having to choose between watching your favorite show and heating up dinner. These unusual rules highlight the extent of government control, affecting even the most mundane aspects of daily living. Families gather together when the power goes out, sometimes sharing stories by candlelight. In this environment, small luxuries that many take for granted become major challenges. The energy shortage serves as a stark reminder of the harsh realities faced by those living under strict state control. It shows how a crisis can lead to unusual laws that dictate not just public behavior, but private life as well. Life in North Korea is a daily negotiation with limited resources, where even a microwave could spark a minor act of rebellion. Number 1. One candidate, one choice. In North Korea, every citizen above the age of 17 is required to vote in elections. But there's a catch. There is usually only one candidate on the ballot. The purpose of these elections is not to offer a genuine choice to the people, but rather to confirm the rule of the single party that controls the country. It is a process carefully designed to showcase unity and obedience rather than true democratic participation. Every vote is counted, and every vote must fall in line with the predetermined outcome. Citizens participate because it is mandatory, but the system leaves little room for expressing any personal opinion or dissent. It is one of many ways the government reinforces its grip on power and limits individual freedoms. While the world celebrates the right to choose, North Koreans find themselves in a situation where the election is more of a ritual than a genuine contest of ideas. It's a fascinating and often puzzling example of how political processes can be manipulated to create an illusion of participation while keeping power firmly in the hands of a select few. Every compulsory vote is a reminder of the system's control, a performance staged for the world that leaves no real freedom behind, indeed stark. If you woke up tomorrow and found yourself living under North Korea's strict rules, how do you think you'd cope? Let us know in the comments.